It's Comfort Bishambesh. Welcome again to this tutorial session, and I'm going to teach you how to interact with Airtel Money services using Python. So, I recently created this Python SDK software development kit to help us interact with Airtel Mobile Money services, the official Airtel Mobile Money services. I mean, yeah. So with this tutorial, it's not like we're going to be using any payment gateway in between. With this tutorial session, we'll be interacting with Airtel Mobile Money services directly. Yeah, directly. So with this tutorial session, what we are going to cover up is it's going to be uh, requesting for the payments, verifying the transaction, and disbursing cash to your Airtel mobile money account. So I'm going to leave this link in the description. I have this GitHub repo with me with the SDK which we are going to be using, yeah, which I recently created. So we are going to be following up these instructions. So before you get started, make sure that you download this SDK and it's already running so that we can be following each other step by step. Yeah. So before you can continue, make sure that you download this SDK. All right. So let's assume that you have downloaded this SDK. Don't worry about the link. I'll leave it in the description. Sure. So the link is already in the description to say. Yeah. So with Airtel Money Developer Python SDK. So the project requirements, what we need is Airtel Money Developer account. So you need to make sure that you have a fully approved Airtel Mobile Money Developer account. If you don't have one, you can kindly go to developers.airtel.airtel.africa. Yeah, and then let me log out a bit. Yeah, let me log out a bit. If you don't have an account, please kindly sign up using this link. Or I'm going to leave there was the video, like the introduction to Airtel developer portal, which I created earlier on. So you don't have to worry if you don't understand how this platform goes. There's a link in the description which describes everything which I created before this session. So let's get started, fam. So with me, I already have an account. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to sign in with my credentials. Yeah, and then I'm going to type in my password, of which I don't have to disclose to anyone, just like you don't have to disclose your password to me. Sure. So why am I logging into my Airtel developer portal? It's because we need this Airtel developer portal account, Airtel Money, Airtel developer client ID and secret key, Airtel Money disbursement pin, and Airtel Money disbursement pin, and then in inclusion you also need to have Python 3 plus. Yeah. Oh, what could be the problem? All right. So an OTP has been pushed to my email. Let me try to check. Here, you can feel it. It's already here. Yeah, here it is. And I'm going to click on login. Something went wrong. Why? If it continues like this, what you have to do is you can just need to refresh your page and retry. Yeah, so let's go. Let's get this. Yeah, all right. And then I'll validate and continue. What could be the problem now? Think these guys are facing some kind of small technical challenges. Yeah, because some time back I never used to experience these errors where, but it's even failing to log me in. Hey guys, we have a problem. So I'm going to put, yeah. So here it is. So when you log into your account, it shows something like this. So I'm going to go to try for application. If you don't have an application already configured, you just have to click on register application. You give it a name and then it will show like this. So I'm going to click on try for. So and then I'm going to subscribe to disbursement. So with this you have to choose uh your country, or if you think of like operating in many countries, you can just choose multiple countries as you want. So let's get started. So in this tutorial, what we need is uh we need yeah, we need client ID and secret key. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to create my pin. So this pin which I'm going to create, it is the pin that you're going to be using to disperse the cash. Like if you would like to like transfer the money from your Airtel portal to your personal account, or to your mobile money account, or let's say to your client's account, whatever. Yeah. So here we go. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to add this disbursement API. I choose the country, Zambia, and then I also set the pin. So this pin is very, very important. Set pin. So I'm going to set the pin 1 2 3 4 as my testing pin. But you don't have to set 1 2 3 4 as your pin. And then I'm going to click on submit. Your pin is set successfully. Save this pin for future purposes. If you try to check, it's 1 2 3 4. Yeah. And then what what else? Yeah, collections. You also subscribe to collections. Yeah, for these collections, when we subscribe, it is what you'll be using when we like want to collect payments. Yeah, when we try to collect payments from our client, we use the collections API. And when we're trying to like transfer money from one account to another, we use the disbursement. So I'm going to submit. Yeah, sure. So now we're good to go. So now what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to click on key management. On my key management, I'm not going to click there because it contains some sensitive information. So when you click on this key management, we're going to find what's this on key management. We're going to find these client ID and secret key. So we need these details for this tutorial session, or to make our collections at disbursement successful. So I'm not going to click on key management because it contains some sensitive information. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause this video a little bit so that I can click on key management. I copy and paste my keys, and then I am going to resume this video. Make sure that you also don't expose your keys under key management. Yeah. So before we go there, I'm going to download this SDK so that I make sure that yeah. Yeah. Let me download this so that I make sure that we're working at the same phase. Yeah. So here it is. I'm going. I'm going to open it in my. I'm going to open it with Visual Studio Code. Yeah. Here it is. It's loading. Yeah, my PC is a little bit slow and it's overloaded. Seems to be overloaded. Anyway, wait for it. So I created this copy thing. It describes like uh it describes like no, it doesn't describe, but it contains some code to interact with what's this the code in classes and then Airtel Pay. Yeah, so we have this folder structure. This Airtel Pay is the configuration, and this pin.py is going to be helping us to generate the pin. Sorry, that's this the token. It's going to be helping us generate the authorization token when I'm trying to disperse. So I'm going to click on Airtel Pay. So over here, I'm going to fill in country. I'm going to type in ZM without the question mark. And then currency, since me I'm from Zambia, I'm going to type in over here ZMW. And then your disbursement pin, remember the pin we created. So over here we we set our pin to 1234. Yeah. So and then here you can choose start gain or production. So when it's start gain, it means it's in testing mode. Then when here the environment mode is in production, it means your app is ready to be in production. So if we were in production, I could have just simply typed in our production, just like that. But now since we are testing, I'm just simply going to type in start again. So all right. So as I said, on client and secret and secret key, I'm not going to expose these details to anyone. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to pause this video a little bit so that I can uh, copy and paste my client ID and secret Airtel from my Airtel developer portal over here or right here. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause it a little bit. All right, fam. So what I was doing in the background was that I was copying and pasting my keys from key management over here, of which I'm pretty sure that you have all done that. And then I was putting the client ID on client ID and client secret on client secret. Yeah, so that now we are ready to go. So let's try to do the core pay. So I'm going to create. You can. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry for that. So copay.py. So I'm going to use copay.py file to uh to interact with the APIs. Yeah, to interact with the SDK. I mean, so we are going to be following up these instructions. Yeah, so first step, you edit environment mode. Yeah, that environment I told you to set it if it's tagging or production, X current country, X current client ID from classes and then Airtel Pay from classes folder, and inside the classes folder you're going to find airtelpay.py as shown below. Yeah, so you need to follow these instructions. So over here we have request payment code. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to copy paste this code, and then I'm going to paste it right here. So this one is request pay. So this request to pay is used when you're trying to collect a payment from the client or from the user. Yeah. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to type in my Airtel phone number 729270, which is 0972927679. And then here I'm going to specify the amount. Let's say it's one. Currency code DMW. So for things like country code, country code and currency code, you can just simply click on documentations over here, and then references, and then here we are. So we have these for country Uganda UG, currency shilling, and then currency code UGX for Nigeria. It's for Nigeria country. It's country code NG. It's just like that. Zambia, it's ZM, Zambian kwacha, and then the currency code is ZMW. All of these countries are here. Sure. So let's continue. I'm going to use the codes for Zambia. Country code. No. Currency code here is ZMW. No, as in upper cases or capital letters. You can call it whatever. So, country code is ZM. Transaction ID for the transaction ID. How many digits? Oh, I think they have to be. I don't know. Yeah, but let's try it out. So for the transaction ID here, it is just going to say uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, something like that. So this variable is calling Airtel Pay class, and then in Airtel Pay class is calling the pay with this pay which helps us to collect payments, and then it's collecting from this. It's requesting to collect from this phone from this user from this user's phone number, and then a one quarter in currency ZMW Zambian kwacha, country ZM which is Zambia, with this transaction ID. So let's try to call this transaction and see what you're going to get. Yeah, let's see. Sure. So it returns. So it has returned this data. I don't know if you have heard the sound in my background. Yeah, let me redo it so that you can all hear the sound from my background. It's requesting me to enter. It's requesting me to enter my pin. So let me delete this one. Let me clear everything in my terminal, and then let me request. So you hear the sound. Yeah, so this sound is on my phone. It's requesting me to enter my pin so that I can confirm the transaction. But so what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to type in my pin. Yeah, I've typed in my pin. Yeah, so when we're in testing mode, it's obvious that payments do not go through. Yeah, not no. Yeah, yeah. They never go through when we're in staging unless in production. If you change there from Airtel Pay from staging to production, and then you use your production APIs, and then your payment will be pushed through. So our payment was pushed through, and it has returned this data. So you have transaction ID status. Uh, the status. This status simply means uh, the status of the transaction. Like, was it pushed successfully to that user? Yeah, if it was pushed, then it returns success. And then the response code. Yeah, everything was a success. So now that I've cancelled the transaction on my phone, let's see. Uh, Now let's try to verify this transaction with the ID. What's that ID? Let's try to verify this transaction ID right here. Yeah, let me copy it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to comment out on this code so that it doesn't disturb us when we're trying to verify the transaction. Yeah, so the payment was pushed. So why do we verify or check the transaction status? Let's say if you have created the system and you'd like to check if the transaction was a success, uh, failed, or if it's still in the pending. So that's the reason why we need to check for the transaction status before we can do anything or update the database. Sure. So here we are. Ta-da. So the next the next the next procedure here is check verify transaction code. So for verifying the transaction, I'm going to copy and paste this code snippet out here, and I'm going to paste it over here. Sure. So I'm going to check the status of that transaction with this ID. Sure. So here where this transaction ID, I'm going to simply replace with this one. So for that transaction, I cancelled it, so it should show. No, I did not cancel it. It should show. Uh, let's see. Yeah. So status, when the status is successful. No. So message initiator is invalid. Why? Because we are in the testing mode. Then the status is TF. TF simply means transaction failed. TS simply means uh, transaction successful, and TP simply means transaction pending. So we have this one. The message was called successful, but the transaction was not. So message initiate is not is invalid, which means that we are in the testing mode. If we are in the production mode, this transaction could have been a success. Yeah. So the status is TF over here, right here. So, like, if you want, you can start accessing these variables one by one. Like, let's say, if you want to access, yeah, if you'd like to access the watch this the transaction status. So, what you can simply do over here is, you can just simply follow these parameters over here. So, we have it starts with data. It starts with data. Yeah. Uh, Yeah. All right. Let's try out data. Starts with data. Let's see what we're getting in return. Also, invalid data. Verify. JSON data. Uh, we have. All right. All right. So let's see. Let's check from our classes here, so that we can see how we can access those JSON values. Those JSON values. All right. All right. Pay. Verify transaction. Yeah, so we simply need to go JSON data, the dictionary JSON data. So sure, verify. So we need to go JSON data, and then JSON data add data. Sure, let's see. We'll wait. We'll give it some time. So here it is. So okay. So this is the basic information we need in order for us to verify the transaction. So now what I did was that I accessed the JSON data using this variable JSON data. Yeah, JSON data, and then I included this data. So if I try to like remove it, we're going to find that we're going to find that our JSON response is returning data transaction, and it's no, no it's data is the parent, and then we have the sub parent, which is transaction. So you can kindly access all of this by doing what I'll be doing over here. So we need to access what is in data JSON. So data, and then transaction, and then we access transaction, and then inside the transaction would like to access maybe let's say would like to access Airtel Money ID. Yeah, let's say if we try to access like Airtel Money ID. Yeah, Airtel Money ID. Airtel Money. Oh, I hope you will. Yeah, so this is it, just like that. We have accessed Airtel Money ID, just like that. And then if we'd like to access this ID of ours, we just simply need to add ID. If we'd like to access the status, the transaction status, just have to replace this one with transaction status. So let's say we have a system whereby we are trying to verify the transaction. Sure. So I'm going to put this in a variable. I'm going to say trans equals to, and then over here I'm just simply going to say if trans is equals to tf. This is when the transaction, let's say when the transaction is failed. Yeah, it's recording. So when the transaction is failed, let's say we'd like to print your transaction was failed. The transaction was failed. Voila, just like that. And then when it's successful, we like if trans is equals to ts, and then we print uh we print transaction transaction was successful. And when it's pending, if trans is equals to TP, and then here we print to say your transaction is pending. Your transaction is pending. For this TP, this is when the customer has not yet approved. So let's try to run this. Your transaction was failed. Why? Because the status is TF. Yeah, the status is TF. Let me even print out the outcome of this. Or maybe you can just simply copy all of this. Yeah, no, let me just say uh, verify, 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 then JSON data, verify, and then JSON data. Let's get it. So here's at first it brings us the JSON data, and then at last it prints your transaction was failed. I love this. So we're moving to the next part where there's disbursement. One would like to disburse the payment. Yeah, so let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. After this tutorial session, I'm going to leave all of this on the GitHub repo. So and then we go to no no we go back to our SDK instructions. Yeah. So the last one is disbursement. Like when you're trying to transfer the funds from your Airtel developer accounts to from your Airtel developer account or from your Airtel partner portal to to a specific Airtel money account. This is when we use disburse or transfer call. So to transfer or disburse money into your mobile money account, follow the below instructions. Warning: this calling does not work without the disbursement PIN. Follow the first instructions to configure your disbursement. As I said, we need the disbursement PIN. If you don't know how to create the disbursement PIN, kindly go back to the uh yeah kindly how can I say kindly rewind this video to the first, and then you're going to see how we created the disbursement pin. Yeah, and then you also you play it a little bit from there, and then you're going to also find where we put the Airtel money disbursement pin. Sure. So let's continue. I'm going to copy and paste this to our VS Code. Here we are. So this is it. So here I'm going to type in my Airtel mobile money phone number 72 0972 and let's say I would like to disburse a 5 kwacha 5 ZMW. Yeah, let's see what that error code. All right, so we continue where we had left. So we ended on on the disbursement call. So let's do it. Let me try to make a call. It was a transfer request. What are we getting? Oh, status message error in decrypting pin status code router TXN. Yeah, so this is because this is because how can I say? Huh. Sure. So this is because in the test mode, and the key, I'm pretty sure that the pin which I put here in pin.py was not a correct pin. So if I had put a correct pin, it could have shown something like this cannot be processed in testing mode, something like that. So if you get an error like this cannot be processed in testing mode, or any error apart from this, then that means that everything is okay. Yeah, so the reason why I've gotten this is because I'm pretty sure that I entered an incorrect pin. Yeah, so this is how we use the Python SDK. Yeah, no, no. So all right, let me try to enter the correct pin so that I can show you. Sure, fam. So let me try to call it again. Error in decrypting pin. It seems like I forgot my pin. Yeah, I forgot my pin, but don't worry, I'm pretty sure that it will work for you because on my protection APIs, I tested this SDK and it worked 100%. So that's all for this tutorial, farm. And if you feel like you'd like to collaborate with me on any of your projects to do with web development, app development, and any other software development projects, you are free to hit me up. And if you have like any additional questions, or if you are facing any challenges, you can kindly reach out to me using these contact details. So this phone number is only active on WhatsApp. This one, no phone calls, only on WhatsApp. If you would like to call me, then use WhatsApp phone calls. And if I take some time to respond, you can kindly use my email, and then I'm going to make sure that I reply to each and any of your messages. Yeah, that's all. Cheers, guys.